Well, hello and welcome to Beyond the Track, presented by eBay Motors. eBay Motors has over 85 million new and used parts online. Be sure to check out the new eBay Motors mobile app, all available at ebaymotors.com. I'm Sean Stewart with the U.S. Motorsports Association. You can learn more about the USMA at saveracing.com. Well, racing is starting to resume. We're starting to see a small bit of light at the end of the tunnel of this whole COVID-19 situation. Race events did take place over the weekend. Some were approved, some were not, some were shut down, but none that we know of had fans in the grandstands except for one event at Tulsa Raceway Park. Fans were very limited, and the owners of the track, Todd Martin and Keith Haney, they took great lengths to plan the event and to develop many new procedures, and took the steps to coordinate with their local and state officials. They were really the focus of the weekend for many of us across the spectrum of motorsports, including us here at the U.S. Motorsports Association. We were watching to see what would happen. They have now set the stage, and in many ways they've set the standard. They're paving the road, the first event with fans. And here to talk to us about how they planned this event, how it went, and what is next, please welcome to Beyond the Track, Todd Martin, co-owner of Tulsa Raceway Park. Todd, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be a part of the U.S. Motor Sports Association.
Well, Todd, we appreciate that. We know that we've all been working hard here to try to get racing going again, and you guys have an annual event, a major event called Throwdown in T-Town. It's really become a signature event for your track, but really a signature event in all of drag racing. And this last weekend, you held the event with very limited fans, but with fans, which is a very big deal. And you made national news with it, lots of local coverage as well. So give us your kind of Monday morning assessment. How did things go?
It was an easy feat getting this off. We were all the way down to the wire a week ago Friday, waiting to hear from our attorneys. I started out by reaching out to the governor's office here in Oklahoma. I reached out to the mayor's office. The governor's office was pretty easy. When I reached out to the mayor's office, they weren't really understanding what was going on. I talked to their office. They referred me to the Tulsa legal department, and called down there and tried to explain to those guys what I was doing. And they basically told me if I was an attorney that they didn't need to be talking to me, which is understandable. I mean, I'm sure they're getting overwhelmed with that kind of stuff. So Keith and I just called our attorney that we used that represents the racetrack, and he made a couple of phone calls, sent a couple of letters, and then by 11 o'clock a week ago Friday, the week before the race, we had a letter stating from the mayor's office and the governor that we could open up if we went along with phase one of what our governor's plan was. And I initiated that along with some other things that NHRA and myself, and of course US, the group there, has been talking about implementing to get tracks open, and they liked it, and that's how we got the ball going the right direction.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys definitely, this wasn't a flip the switch kind of thing, that you had to work at it, you had to work the channels and in your local government there, and obviously use some attorneys' help. How much planning, obviously they gave you some criteria, or the governor has the general criteria, but how much planning did you all do just around the specifics of your track and all the changes that you would have to make?
Well, if you go back 3 or 4 weeks before the event was even to happen, you could start seeing that I was putting out documents on how we were going to race. It's not real well known what I do for a living, but I've been in the environmental business for 26 years. My degree's in public health. My background in the military was nuclear, biological, chemical weapons. I deal with on a daily basis exposure to employees of chemicals and stuff at their working environment. So it wasn't super difficult for me to put things together, but it wasn't just a walk in the park. And I have to give a shout out to Chris Blair. At the same time I started all my process, he started his process there at St. Louis. And we were working together on that, sending emails back and forth. We were looking at some other motorsports organizations that were sending stuff out, USAC and some other groups right at the beginning of that. And it was great to see everybody pushing to get it open. But, where I started at is not where we ended at. When I first started, it was, racers were going to have to wear masks. You're going to be confined to your pit area. It was going to be only one group of cars in the staging lanes at a time, so on and so forth. And when it ended up, racers didn't have to wear masks other than the tech, and we only allowed 2 racers there. We used odd lanes at our racetrack. We had more than one class in the lanes, as long as we had a lane separating, wheelie bars and all those kind of things. And golf carts are perfect for social distancing because it just spreads everybody out a little bit more in the staging lanes. So it was really neat to work through the process. Is it something that I want to do all the time? No, but we have a very, very good set of base rules, and I think that are going to help us keep open because, we plan on starting our schedule. This is the big race of the year this last weekend, and our schedule is going to be what it is for the rest of the year.
Wow. And so you obviously did a lot of planning. There was a lot of leading up to the event, but once you're there, once all that stuff's in motion, how cooperative were your racers and your fans? I mean, we did see on some of the national news your grandstands, and it looked like they were pretty well behaved.
Man, I cannot say enough about the racer and our fans. We had 1 or 2 racers. I was watching tech from afar, and if they were heading up there and they had 3 people, I would say, hey, it's 2 racers and you got to have a mask. Oh, yeah, we forgot about that. They complied. I had nobody, jump up and just demand that they weren't doing anything. I did a couple of short tutorial videos before the race for the racers and for the spectators. It got a lot of views. I think that helped a lot getting information out. Then I also took that same process and it was written, and then we posted it on our Facebook page so people knew what they were getting into before they got there. The fans were phenomenal. They had to endure really long lines. Our concessions were, because we had limited concessions. We usually bring outside food trucks for an event this size. And, people had to stand in line 30, 40 minutes, an hour sometimes to get stuff. Which was, I don't like seeing that, but it was just part of the times. We didn't really expect that we had actually take our full 50% occupancy. Friday night, we started out with 25 to 30% occupancy, and we reached that. And then Saturday, we opened back up, started at the 35% occupancy, and then we opened up 5% each time. That we could see that it wasn't going to be overflow or wasn't going to be a problem. And then we had another process that we counted cars that would leave, because that's how we were selling everything, is by a carload. Kind of know what the average is after doing this race for so many years. And then after we had 100 cars leave, we'd open up another 100 parking spots for them to come in. So we were very diligent about counting our numbers and knowing what was coming in and out. Of course, we know all the information from the racers. The racers did a great job going online, buying all their tech cards ahead of time, filling out all the paperwork that was required of them ahead of time. So we knew how many racers, we knew how many race teams and everything that we had on the property. But I can't say enough thank you to the fans that came to TRP to watch the race, and the racers. They complied very well. And you know how it is on the starting line. Everybody wants to be on the starting line.
Sure, yeah.
Very few times do we have to really just get people off the starting line. They complied with the 4 crew members for the pro teams and 2 crew members for the sportsman teams.
And that's really amazing. I mean, and you guys were approved at 50%, right? But then it sounds like you kind of eased your way. You almost had your phased-in approach throughout the weekend.
Yeah, we were approved. The way that the governor wanted us to do is every other row. And so, of course, that is your occupancy for the seating there. We have standing room that we get to count by the fire marshal, so we took that in consideration. We went and put red X's on every other row. And we just asked people, it was real easy. Don't sit on the X's. We had security that walked through. We would see, it was kind of concerning at first because we would see 8 or 10 people sitting together in a row, and then there would be 4 or 5 feet between them, and then you'd have another pod. Well, those were families or race teams, so they were allowed to be together.
You must have felt some level of pressure. I mean, the kind of all the major racetracks in America, not just drag racing, but us as an organization, sanctioning bodies, we're all kind of looking to you this weekend to see how it went, and not just whether you would do a good job or not, but what was the media and so many aspects of us trying to get racing again, but doing it right, doing it responsibly. You guys have been great as far as sharing information. I mean, Keith Haney, your co-owner there, he shared his personal notes with tracks around the country, and like you said, others. Chris Blair over in St. Louis has helped numerous tracks, and everybody's banding together. But it was kind of all eyes on Tulsa Raceway Park, or this weekend. Did you guys feel that pressure? Did you feel that level of responsibility for the entire industry?
We did, and I addressed that with our staff. I addressed that with our racers. This thing reaches so much further than Tulsa Raceway Park. It affects the guy building the transmission. It affects our great sponsor, Summit, that helps with the Midwest Pro Mod Series. It affects with the guys selling trailers. And if we screw that up, that's going to slow all that down for everybody. And Keith and I did feel the pressure, and we made it known to our staff that, we can't fail here. We cannot fail. It's not going to be an option for us to do a poor job. We went and had extra hand sanitizing stations and wash stations put out through the facility. Every bleacher had them before they were you go up to. We had signs everywhere. We had new shifts of people coming in at night when it was done to clean the grandstands, and then we sanitized the grandstands at night. It was almost 4 o'clock in the morning before the crew got started on that, because it was 12:30 by the time we got done Friday night. Yeah, the days are all running together.
Congratulations to you guys. That's a lot of work, and I think that people don't realize how much racing in general, we do care. We're all, as they say, we're all in this together, and you guys thought of every little thing, and it's exhausting, and you didn't have to do it. You probably didn't make money on that event, and it's not a normal event, and but I think, knowing you guys, you went forward to kind of get things moving again, and we certainly appreciate you guys doing that. Is there anything else that we should know as an industry that you learned from that event that you might apply to the next one?
I just don't think that you can. I made it very clear. You just can't allow people not to comply. You just make it up front. Be very gentle about it. These are the rules. This is what it takes for us to go racing, guys. This is what it takes for you to come as a spectator. More information is way better than less information in a time period like this. I can't tell you how many times I answered the same question. I was blue in the face, but I would just answer it again because I knew it was important and I knew it was new. And I would get disgusted, but then I would have to think back to myself, hey, this is new for everybody. Just because I know the answer doesn't mean that everybody else does. So the biggest thing I can say is, keep the outreach to your racers, keep good lines of communication open with your local officials and government, keep good information and lines of information to your spectators, and make sure that whatever you say you're going to do, that you're going to do. Because the first time that you slip or let one of the systems fail, it's going to make the whole domino fall apart. And I just, I was stressed about that more than anything, was making sure that all of our systems in place that we put in place were functioning properly. And they did. And that's why this was successful. That's why the racers, I can't thank them enough. And like I said before, all of our sponsors and all of our spectators that come out and that went through everything from the new paperless time slip app to filling a W-9 out online and submitting it, to purchasing your tickets and parking online. All of that was all brand new to all of our racers and our spectators, and they executed in a very, very well manner.
That's awesome, Todd, and thank you for your military service. I'm sure that came into play. I mean, you have to sort of attack this in a way that's strategic and that is organized, and all of those things you mentioned, and I think we can learn a lot from that, and we really appreciate you taking the crazy path of owning a racetrack, but we are glad you did so. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, Keith and I are very different. Our passion for the sport goes way out there. Neither one of us make our living at the racetrack, and we're very blessed and fortunate for that. We both know that, and we love drag racing. This year will be the 55th anniversary for Tulsa Raceway Park. We have some big plans for it. We don't plan on going anyway. We're adding a dirt track, as you know, to the racing facility. And as long as we continue getting the great sponsors and the great support from the community and the racers, Tulsa Raceway Park will be there a long time.
Thank you guys both, Keith Haney, both of you guys taking that track over. We'd love to have you back on sometime just to talk about your story there. But the fact that you guys took that over, you're doing it right, you're doing it responsible, but you're also going forward and doing it, and that is giving us a real-life example of how this can work. It's giving us hope that we're going to get racing again, and we just appreciate it so much. Todd, we hope you'll come back on the show here as you get more events under your belt and keep us informed.
Yeah, we'd love to. And please, anybody in the United States Motorsports Association, NHRA, dirt track, motocross, it doesn't matter what racing you are. If there's any way I can help, you can reach out to me at todd@tulsaracewaypark.com. I'll send you everything I put together. I mean, it's free of charge. I mean, I just want to see us all racing and our sport stay healthy. Any way I can help anybody, I'd be happy to.
Thanks so much, Todd. And we'll put that up, if you don't mind, on our website when we put this podcast up. And you guys have truly been amazing, just sending us and our industry as a whole. Just like I said, Keith Haney sent his personal notes. You guys have been very informative. And I think that is the one positive we're seeing in this whole mess, is that the racing industry is unifying maybe like it never has before. Like you said, it doesn't matter, motocross, dirt tracks, drag strips, we're all kind of one at this point, and that's been the positive in it, and hopefully we'll stick together as we come out of this and be more prepared the next time around, when hopefully there's not a next virus, but the next issue that we'll be faced with.
Yes, I agree. There's more power with us sticking together than there is for us to be divided. So I think that all of motorsports is seeing the benefit of us working together. There's a lot of things that we can implement. There's a lot of technology out there. There's a lot of resources. You just got to go dig for them. And I think we'll get through all of this in a positive manner. I hope all the other tracks that aren't able to open get open very soon. I do not recommend that. So I didn't know that they had some races this weekend that got shut down, but man, that's the worst thing that we can really do, because once you get on that list, the health department gets mad at you, or your local officials get mad at you, that it snowballs, and they're going to start complaining about noise and dust and traffic and everything else. So I most definitely try to stay on the positive side. I know we all got to get back to work. I know we got to all make money, but try to stay on the positive side.
All right. Well, Todd Martin from Tulsa Raceway Park. Todd, thanks again for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. And best of luck, everybody, and see everybody at a racetrack soon.
Well, that will do it here for Beyond the Track, presented by eBay Motors. I want to thank all of our sponsors that help us with this show and with the U.S. Motorsports Association's work to advocate for racing across the country. I want to thank Todd Martin of Tulsa Raceway Park again for all of his insight, giving us a look and an update on one of the first racing events, one of the first sporting events for that matter, to go forward with fans this past weekend. We look forward to more updates from Todd, and we look forward to continuing to see our racing industry reopen. Hey, to help you do that, go to our website, saveracing.com. That's saveracing.com. Click the COVID-19 toolkit. It's a blue button at the top of the page. That'll give you all kinds of information. We have a 5-step plan on how to contact your local officials, what to do. We have all kinds of templates in there, all kinds of things to help you through this crazy pandemic that we're in. Lots going on. We're going to have another podcast here in a couple days with some major updates with the USMA, with legislation, with coalitions that are coming together, all kinds of stuff happening at a rapid pace. And once again, go to saveracing.com. That's where you can find all the information. We'll see you next time on Beyond the Track. Until then, Godspeed, everyone.